More than 600 World War II veterans every day.
That's right. And so on this Veterans Day, Don Nelson thought that he would share with you a special trip that he took 2 months ago to Washington, D.C.
A trip to fulfill the dreams of those veterans in what's known as the Honor Flight Network. I traveled with my dad, who served in the Navy at the end of the war. It was a trip I will never forget.
And horizontal bombers coming in waves.
From Europe to the Pacific.
The attack was carried out by Jap torpedo planes.
The men who fought in World War II are now part of what's known as the greatest generation.
Good, I told everybody to watch Channel 6.
And now 70 years later, those same veterans are making the trip to our nation's capital to see the war memorials up close and personal. Earlier this year, my father found out he made it onto Idaho's honor flight, planned for September. I signed on as a guardian, and away we went.
Okay, ready? We're ready.
28 veterans and 22 guardians boarded a Southwest flight bound for Washington.
I think that it'll be very meaningful, and they'll tell me exactly what freedom means when I see the wall and when I see the monuments.
The national anthem will be sung to us by the Boise Police Department Honor Guard.
And the rocket's red glare.
Through the Arch of the Sabres and onto the plane. And through the water salute on the tarmac. Then, right before takeoff.
Welcome aboard and one more statement of the call.
After landing in Washington, the first stop was the World War II Memorial, where memories are still vivid and stories of war mark the price of freedom.
Would you do it again?
In a minute. If I had to enlist again, though, I'd enlist in the Air Corps.
Why's that?
Better food.
The memorial consists of 2 arches representing the Atlantic, the other the Pacific, and 56 pillars for every state and territory. It didn't take long for my dad to find his native state of Nebraska and my home state of Idaho. Every veteran there was humbled by their memorial.
I think what we've done has been an honor, but now after so many years, for the first time, we are being honored as heroes, and I've never felt myself as a hero.
Feeling it is one thing. Talking about the greatest generation is another.
I think you're talking about somebody else, not me.
Why's that?
I didn't do a lot.
Enough to help save the world from fascism and goodness knows what else. The bus tour made stops at the Korean and Vietnam War memorials. And ended up at Arlington National Cemetery, where my dad and 3 other veterans were bestowed the high honor of laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns. It was a privilege to be part of this trip and blessed to have done it with my dad. It was also a way of saying to all of our veterans, one more tour with honor.
And let me just say that, first of all, Honor Flight of Idaho is a nonprofit. They need donations because the list is already growing for next year.
Sure.
Guardians pay their own way, and that's not a problem because there's usually a long list of guardians willing to help out.
And we should mention you paid your own way.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was just so many memories, obviously going with my dad. And, I mean, that goes without saying.
Right.
But I think one of the neatest things that happened was when we were flying back from Washington to Denver, to our connecting flight, there was a young Marine who was going to see his girlfriend in Denver, probably 22-year-old. And he said, he came in on the plane, he walked all the way to the back, and he said, "Can I sit back here with you guys?"
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, and tell a story quickly if we can, as I'm wiping tears literally away. When you got to Denver, on the way back.
And then when we got to Denver, when we came off, there had to be about 150, 175 people standing there applauding.
Just in the tarmac.
They were rock stars. These guys were like rock stars.
They deserve it.
They do.
They do.
Thank you, Don.
Don, thanks for the story.